Hi everybody, welcome to Grammin4x4Overland. Today I'm going to go through an installation video of a oil pressure gauge that I've installed or going to install in the Land Rover Discovery. Had some issues with the oil light early mornings when the vehicle's been sitting for a few days. The oil light has been coming on for 15 seconds to maybe a minute or two, depending on how long the vehicle's been sitting. I did change the oil to Rotella T6 synthetic. Since I've done that, it's behaved much better and I haven't had any oil lights. But I had planned to do this anyway, so we'll see how the oil's behaving when I get this pressure gauge installed. So I have the pressure gauge here itself. It also has the sender units, electronic sender, the sandwich adapter here, which goes between the oil filter and the engine block. I have some electrical conduit to make sure I protect the electrics as they go from the fuse box over to the sender unit in the engine bay. I do two circuit connectors to some non-essential circuits on the fuse box. I got a collection of crimps that'll help me out. The crimp tool. I got this box here to mount the gauge. I think I'm going to mount it on the dash between the instrument panel and the driver's side window or A-pillar. I'm going to squeeze it in there because I think it's a good spot. And I also got this extension, cable extension, because I didn't think the one that came in here was going to be long enough. So all in all, about $150 Canadian plus for accessories. And I'm going to take you through how to install it. Okay, the first part of this project, we're going to open up the fuse panel to look at the electrical stuff. I want to do the electrical piece first in terms of the power to the gauge. So we're going to get into the fuse panel, which is under the steering column here. Two screws we have to undo, come out there, drops the panel down, and then you can see we have a whole bunch of fuses. There's the list. And there's the fuses up underneath the panel there. You can see them. And we're going to go to the manual and we're going to find out which ones are the least consequential in terms of tapping into with the added fuse circuits. Had some difficulty, to be honest with you. Couldn't find a 10 amp circuit that's not switched. Tried about every one of them. So I'm using the ACE cornering enhancement as the switched. The non-switched, I'm going to use this 15 amp circuit, the interior lights, clock radio, memory, key, engine remote, compact disc player, and some diagnostics for the key interlock. So here's the taps that I've done to wire it up. The next thing I need to do is get the wire from the for the sensor to go through the firewall and come out here. So I'm going to go do that. I'm going to route the wiring going through the back, the fuse box, and I'm going to come up here to this point here, where I'm going to mount this little pod that I bought here. I have now installed the gauge here. I siliconed it down on here. I didn't want to drill through the dashboard, and I routed the wire, you can see, down through this conduit and into the fuse compartment through here. I haven't wired it up yet, but I took the green and the other earth wire, the ground wire, sorry, through the bulkhead at the back. So I'll take you around. See the green wire here. I was going to use this grommet here of this cable, but it was cramping on the cables. It was clamping on the cables. I didn't want to do that. So I drilled a hole, probably about 3/8, and got the wires fed through, and siliconed that hole up around some electrical tape to seal it. And then that wire is going to go all the way over and down into this area down here. Okay, looking down, you can see just right there at the bottom is the oil filter. That will come off, the sandwich adapter will go on, and then I will mount the sensor onto the adapter in the appropriate port, and then I'll wire up these wires here. These will wire up to the sensor. This black ground actually is a common ground with the other ground, which I'll wire up to a ground in the fuse box. Okay, so looking underneath the car, you can see the oil filter. That's going to come off. This thing here is going to go on. See, it's got 4 ports. And then that filter is going to go back in there, and I'm going to make sure it faces this way so the sensor can come into that space and the wiring can come down to it. Okay. This is the nut that screws in the adapter. I just checked it with my old filter, so it does fit. So here is the sensor installed up here. Got a green wire to here, black wire to here, which is actually, you can go directly to ground. I'm taking it back to the shared ground. You can see this is all tight. Hopefully, we'll check it in a few days, see if I have to tighten things up a bit. It looks pretty good. A nice, clean, easy way to do this. Got it all taped up, connections are made. And just secure that cable, some cable ties back up there, away from that manifold. So this is our cable routing up, nicely attached over there and then through the bulkhead. Here's my green and neutral park, turn on. And it looks like I have 450 pounds of pressure at idle. Well, that's a good sign, I'm guessing. It's hot, idle, sitting around 22 PSI, which I believe is quite normal. The ignition when I started it, when it was cold, was up at 52, 54 PSI, which is also, I believe, pretty normal. So happy with that. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe, and more videos to come.